Ever since I was little, I can remember my mom encouraging me to do anything I set my mind to. She always gave me real expectations and told me whether or not she thought I was being irrational or not. There was times when I resented her for this, but now I know it was because she wanted to see me excel in the things I really cared about. Art is something I grew up loving, and I'm thankful I have a family member who supports me. I can remember spending hours in our basement or kitchen working on something as simple as a macaroni picture frame, or even trying to draw Optimus Prime from Transformers. Even though she couldn't quite understand my interpretations, she adored my art and sat down with me and showed me how I could improve. Having a grandfather and mom who also appreciate art is something I never took for granted, because I also know I have close people who I can turn to for advice. When my grandfather recently passed away, he left all of his art supplies to me, and I couldn't be more honored or thankful. Anyone who has bought art supplies knows how expensive they can be, especially since the paintbrushes I like are over $20 a piece, and my pack of coloring pencils was around $90. So art can be a real budget buster, especially for college students. But the real reason I was so honored to receive his supplies is because I know every time I create something, he can be sitting there right next to me in the best way possible. Along with my grandfather, my absolute favorite artist and inspiration is Salvador Dali. His personality and art captured my attention when I was just in middle school, and his character is something I also admire. Throughout his life, people would call him strange and weird for seeing self-portraits and odd behaviors, but personally, I respect him and appreciate his art. His art is eye-opening and contains dark messages that no one would even think twice about. My journey starts with something called op art, which is a form of art that causes optical illusions. Growing up, I loved to figure out patterns in art and try to recreate them in my own way. It's important for me to make sure my art is original and unique because it turns it into a reflection of myself. More importantly, I started using tiny dots to create illustrations of color. Far away, the picture looks like a blend of many different colors, but it's actually only a combination of blue, yellow, red, and black. To get the effect of the orange, green, brown, and all the other colors I have in place, I just put the dots very close together to get the illusion of many different colors. Before my op art phase, I idolized pop artists like Andy Warhol and Keith Haring because there was something pleasing to these simplistic, colorful pieces. I really like repeating patterns and then experimenting with objects and colors that don't necessarily belong together. This eventually led to a nature phase, and I became obsessed with painting landscapes and everything relating to the outside. Landscapes require you to really observe your surroundings, and this taught me a lot about patience and paying attention to detail. I love the challenge of trying to make something look as real as possible. Rocks and mountains in particular were my favorite because there's so much character in the patterns, and each rock and grain is important to making the painting look realistic. After trying realistic landscapes, I wanted the challenge of trying portraits, because capturing emotion was important to me as an artist. I mostly attempted self-portraits because I was most familiar with my own face. Art is something that is so personal and becomes an outlet for so many emotions that it becomes therapeutic. When I'm a teacher, I want to express to my students that they are all their own individual artists and can create whatever they set their mind to. Art throughout the years has taught me how to appreciate others' opinions and to concentrate on the things that are important in life. Some of my biggest accomplishments in arts are being featured in art shows at the Lincoln Center in Fort Collins, Colorado, and for my AP art class. Creating many pieces in a short amount of time can be stressful, and there have been countless nights where I have to stay up through the night trying to meet deadlines. Art isn't something people usually think of as rewarding, but when you finish a collection and listen to feedback from others, it can all be worth it. In Fort Collins, I won a contest with cash prize, and my art had been sandblasted into the pavement downtown. This was probably the most rewarding experience I've ever had because when people walk down the street, they can see my piece in the sidewalk. One of my favorite quotes is by Salvador Dali, and he explains how you don't have to fit in to be happy. As a teacher, I want to hang this quote in my classroom so students can see a famous example of someone who didn't care what others thought of them. Everyone is unique, and that's perfectly acceptable in my classroom and anywhere else for that matter.